And he got into a little scuffle. He was receiving kicks on the wrong side of the field. And so this is why the kick goes from the 50, and Javon Leak returns it out across the 20 for the Maryland Terrapins. Now here is what led to that penalty. Again, he's receiving kicks on the wrong side of the field. The officials try to get him to move. He says something to the officials. They explain why they have the penalty assessed to Matt Canada. And he talked to his youngster, but this is interesting because this is something you don't see often in college football.
Yeah, no, I've never seen this before in college football. And I think also the officials might be a little more in tune to pregame stuff after last week with Michigan and Michigan State. So that's the last thing Matt Canada wanted to worry about.
McFarland obviously a very key piece in that backfield along with Ty Johnson, who's back there. Now the ball on the ground here early. And Kasim Hill is able to jump on it. So we got a youngster starting on both sides. Kasim Hill, the redshirt freshman quarterback. And this is what he's done this season. But look, that bottom stat there really tells it all. They only pass on 33% of their plays.
Yeah, they've been struggling through the air. They are last in the entire Big Ten in pass yards per game. It's been a struggle for him. And talking with Matt Canada, you don't really realize that he's still a freshman year here. Last year he got hurt and didn't have time to practice in the spring or all summer.
Got that big win last year to start against Texas, but all the injuries at quarterback. This season they've been healthier, and that's just a drop by Ty Johnson. So when they have passed it, that has plagued them, and Matt Canada said that. Our guys have to catch the football better.
Yeah, and this is a really rough start right now for Maryland. To come out, they fumbled the first snap, and when I was watching warm-ups, I saw them fumble a few snaps as well in warm-ups, so obviously that carried over to the first play of the game. You have a drop, and now when a team that doesn't throw the ball too well, on a 3rd and 11, it's not what you want to be in if you're Maryland.
Matt Canada, 46-year-old, thrust into the interim head coaching spot. Pressure comes, and not only are they not going to get 11 yards, they're going to go backwards. Jake Hansen getting in there. The sophomore linebacker dropping Hill for a loss of 6.
Illinois runs a stunt on the left side of your screen. Look at Delshon Phillips picks. Bobby Roundtree gets the pressure, and Hansen comes and cleans it up for the sack. A nice job on the design pressure, picking the offensive tackle so that he can't come back on the DN looping Roundtree, who got the pressure, and then Hansen finishes it off.
Just a disastrous opening sequence. The penalty and a 3-and-out that includes a sack and a drop. And now a little bit of a return here for Maryland Illinois, as they get it almost to the Maryland 41-yard line. Jordan Holmes with a return of 12 after a short punt of 38. So, boy, if you're going to get your first start as MJ Rivers, this is quite the setup. You got a really short field to work with.
Absolutely, and MJ Rivers, you look at what he's able to do last week against Wisconsin, coming in after A.J. Bush had struggled early in that football game. The one interception was a deflection up in the air that the Wisconsin D tackle caught. Look for him to get in a rhythm early, short, quick passes.
Yeah, Bush started that game against Wisconsin, was only out there 4 drives, and there's a big hole for Reggie Corbin. You mentioned his 80-yard touchdown run last week against the Badgers. That's a good start for him on the ground, 22 yards. And the junior making his homecoming from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Reggie Corbin with over 30 friends and family in the building here today. And he's going to get the carry again. Not as much there. No gain on his second carry of the afternoon.
Well, talking to offensive coordinator Rod Smith, we asked if he had a little bit more juice this week because of the homecoming. They said he works his tail off each and every week, but you can always tell when you go play at home, speaking from experience, you always have a little more focus that week.
He went to Gonzaga High School, just 12 miles south of here. And this time, a keep and then a toss out and a wide pass from MJ Rivers as he tried to get it to Trenard Davis. Going back to that run, look at this gaping hole for Corbin.
Yeah, absolutely. Reggie Corbin, and it's easy to run the football through that hole when you have it that wide. And you see his ability, a nice tackle there at the end by Richardson to save a touchdown. But you see his explosiveness. Both these teams have home run hitters at the tailback position.
So now they have to deal with a 3rd and 10. From here it would be about a 38-yard field goal if they don't get any closer. Rivers buying time and connecting with Sam Mays. And Mays is upended short of the line to gain. And on 4th down, after a gain of 6, Illinois will try for 3.
And that's a nice stop by the Maryland defense. They have a rough start, the penalty in the pregame, the 3 and out. Illinois starts on a short field on your side of the 50, and you're able to hold them to a field goal.
And it will be a 32-yard attempt for a man who has a big leg. McLaughlin has hit 4 from over 50 yards this season. No problem, right down the middle.
Sure, fumble the first snap, but running team, then having to force to throw it on 2nd and 3rd down. You have a drop on the 2nd down. Looking for a little smoother operation on the 2nd attempt.
Gave Illinois great field position, but that Maryland defense did hold them to 3 points. And Javon Leak with his 2nd return of the game. And he's got a little space and some speed. All the way down the sideline, Javon Leak is going to go to the end zone for a 97-yard return. Well, I was going to ask you what they needed to do better than the 3 and out. Just return the kick 97 yards.
That's it. When you have that explosiveness back there, you take it out every single time. You don't even think about the new fair catch rule and getting on a 25. You let your players go out there and make plays. Maryland with the answer that they needed.
But Javon Leak is a guy that Matt Canada said, we're going to try to get him more involved in the backfield. He didn't mention anything about the kick return game.
Well, I tell you what, when you have 2 explosive guys with Ty Johnson, everyone looking at Ty Johnson. Well, Javon Leak just finds the seam, and then the ability here, once he's even, he is leaving. There is no opportunity for them to catch him. And the perfect response, if you're Maryland, with the explosive kick return. Once you get past that kicker, he's gone.
Javon Leak, 1 yard shy of this year's record because Ty Johnson had a 98-yard return against Michigan. And this one from 97, so special teams has been good to the Terrapins.
And you'll see some teams, they put 1 returner back. Maryland, when you have a Ty Johnson and a Javon Leak, you can do the 2-returner system. You don't have to worry about that 1 returner running all over following the football. You have 2 guys that have that kind of explosiveness and home run threat ability. That's a huge benefit to Matt Canada and that staff.
And it shows not only how explosive they are in the kick return game, but how he spoke with us. You know, coming into the season, we had 6 guys in the backfield that could run the football. And he said, why not use them in the kick game too? And that's why you see Johnson and Leak both back there, taking advantage of that speed. Can Dre Brown have an answer? Now, that one's not going to know for 97 as he gets it out to the 20. And we take a look at the Auto Owners Insurance impact players on this side of the football.
Yeah, and if you're Illinois, your impact player is Reggie Corbin. That's where it all starts. We already saw him. But blocking for him is Nick Allegretti, his 32nd consecutive start among the offensive line at Illinois. Trey Watson, the former Fighting Illini linebacker, having a heck of a season leading the Big Ten in tackles. And Darnell Savage has 4 interceptions this season. That is unbelievable so far. He was all Big Ten honorable mention a year ago. Makes a lot of plays for that secondary.
And it's the Maryland native back there again, Reggie Corbin. Corbin gets the call. Try to reverse fields. We saw him do that last week for the 80-yard touchdown we mentioned. And this time he gets it across the 30 before he's draped out by Antoine Brooks.
And you mentioned it. We could go against Wisconsin on the 80-yarder. MJ Rivers got a block from twice on that touchdown run. He comes back on this play as well and gets a nice crackback block. It's always fun to see your quarterback trying to get physical out there. Not too physical, though, to get himself hurt.
Yeah, it's a fine line, but MJ Rivers throwing his body in harm's way there to help out the team. Isaiah Davis with a stop there as we check back downstairs with Elise.
MJ Rivers, you can sense, is a little bit frustrated right now. Frustrated after that Maryland score. Frustrated his team didn't come away with 6 instead of 3 points in that last drive. But don't count him out. You know, he was doing a lot of listening on the sidelines and not talking. And maybe that's the freshman in him.
Well, the freshman rolling right here. He's got the pitch man, but instead he keeps it, puts his foot in the ground, and gets the first.
And with Rod Smith right now running the option, he told us on the phone earlier this week that, look, the offense doesn't change with either guy. Sometimes you might be inclined to maybe try a few more pass plays with MJ in the game, but as you see there with the option call, they're willing to run the football with MJ Rivers as well as another piece to this offense.
But A.J. Bush, as we were discussing a little bit earlier, he's the runner. 329 yards on the ground for him, and still could see him at some point, but Rivers gets the nod for the first time in his young career. First carry of the game for Rayvon Bonner.
Bonner carries.
Some decent running holes early in this game for Illinois. That goes for 5 yards.
It has to be encouraging right now. If you're Illinois and you're in that coaching staff, you're thinking we're able to get into 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4s. You know, you're not behind the chains. Makes play calling a lot easier when you're second medium.
Directly rolling right, hit as he throws, and Rivers just has to toss it out of bounds. Incomplete, brings up 3rd and 5. As Lautez Rogers was coming directly for MJ Rivers.
And I thought that he was going to force it in there. They're trying to run a spot flat combination. The wide receiver hooked up. A lot of times the defense flows from inside out. Young quarterbacks will try to force it back across their body. A smart decision for the freshman to throw that ball away.
Spot flat, what do you mean by that?
I mean, you have a receiver that hooks up right on the numbers when the quarterback rolls out, and the other receiver goes to the flat short on the outside of the field. Good decision to throw it away.
And now Rivers, this time incomplete. He put it in there, and Davis went to the ground, thought he was going to cradle that in, but he dropped it.
And so when you have two teams that aren't good at throwing the football, you have two young quarterbacks, you need the wide receivers to make all the catches that they're able to. That's how you get the passing game going. It's one thing to have guys miss throws and be errant throwing the football, but when you put it on the hands, you need your guys to make those catches to give those young guys confidence.
And Trey Davis, by the numbers, has been their best receiver. Would have been his team best 20th reception of the season, but he couldn't haul it in. And the punt ensues in the executions chair. There have been many thanks to our friends at the Nevermore Haunt for allowing the cameras in there last night. Anthony McFarland, his first carry, he had the penalty pregame and nowhere to go as he's tackled back at the 5-yard line. You and I didn't go to that haunted house last night.
I don't know. I don't do haunted houses. Not a chance. If you jump out at me, you might catch a right hook. You scare me too much.
Oh, that's a loss of 2. So you think about this. Maryland has no first downs, -9 total yards, and they're leading this ball game 7-3. It's an interesting, inauspicious start. Jacobs in motion. It's McFarland again. That Illinois rush defense ready. Auto Owners Insurance Impact players on this side of the football, James.
Yeah, and for Maryland, it's their running backs. It's Ty Johnson, Anthony McFarland. We talked about them in the open. The yards per carry on any given down, they could take it to the house. And the strength of this Illini defense is their linebackers. Delshawn Phillips leads the Fighting Illini in tackles. Jake Hansen is just steady. When you watch him play, he's really physical, plays well with his hands, sheds blocks. Those two are different from each other. Delshawn more athletic, but Jake and Delshawn making plays for this defense.
We already saw Hansen with a sack earlier, his first sack of the season. 3rd and 10, another bad spot for a running team, but they're going to throw it deep, and it's hauled in by Tavon Jacobs. Great throw, great catch, 26 yards.
And Kasim Hill puts this right on the money. He drops it right over the underneath defender. Nice job being able to thread that in. That's a tight space for a young quarterback. And Matt Canada was talking about on those throws where he's in the pocket, not thinking too much, just letting it rip. Did a really nice job there.
Jacobs just went over 1,000 yards for his career with that catch. He's at 1,003, 6-year senior. a return to the ground game and a pickup of 3 for McFarland.
That was a nice job by Jake Hansen, just pulling the trigger and making a decision as a linebacker, attacking, trying to get to McFarland before he can get going. When you play athletic running backs, I know this from playing linebacker, you have to get to them before they get going. Because if you try to chase those guys at their speed, make it for a long day for you.
It's Jones who went in motion. And it's Jones with a catch. Across the 40, staying on his feet at least momentarily. Boy, Illinois tried to rip that football out. He was down before the ball came loose. Next Saturday, BTN Tailgate heading to Ann Arbor. Dave, Jerry, Howard, Spice, and Michelle, they're going to set the scene for that key East Division clash. The Wolverines, the Nittany Lions. BTN Tailgate presented by T-Mobile. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. Malam walked off under his own power. He was running some sprints a moment ago, trying to work things out on the sideline.
So usually if you have a big guy like that running sprints, I think he's all right. I think he's all right.
And it's Kenyon Jackson, who sees a lot of time normally, who will replace him momentarily as they spread out the big flag like they always do here at Maryland Stadium. Big 3rd and 1 coming up.
From the 42.
And it's the right side run and a first down. That will do it. They needed 1, they got 5, and it's Javon Leak, the man who had the long touchdown return on the kick, picking up the first down.
Yeah, Illinois' D-line shifted in expecting sneak. So Maryland had the right play call with the jet sweep to Javon Leak around the edge, where there was no DNs out there for Illinois to help stop that rush.
Leak actually led Maryland and Iowa in rushing. 1 carry, 16 yards, and that's all it took to be the top rusher against that staunch Hawkeyes defense, where Maryland was shut out for the first time in 3 years. Deep shot, and a little too much mustard on it. He was looking again for Tavon Jacobs, and there in coverage was Cameron Watkins.
I love the play call. Be aggressive. You just got a first down. Take a shot with the young quarterback. Try to get some big chunks. Pay attention to this as a viewer. Every single snap, it seems like Maryland's going to shift. They're going to motion. Talking to the defensive coordinator, Hardy Nickerson at Illinois, he said there's a lot of deception with this offense. There's a lot of motions. They want to mess with your eyes as a defender. Pay attention to that throughout the game.
And the passes really haven't been dink and dunk so far from what is deemed a running football team. They're taking some shots. Here's another jet sweep. We're going to see a lot of those. It's Ty Johnson this time. They get those backs the balls in a lot of different ways.
And what I love what Matt Canada does is he realizes where his strength is in that tailback room. And he just says, look, we're going to find ways to have Anthony McFarland on the field with Fleet Davis, with Leak, with Johnson. There, you saw McFarland at tailback. You had Johnson at that wing position. There's just a lot of ways to get those playmakers the football.
Good sign for Illinois. Jamal Milan is right back on the field, so he only sat out a couple of plays. 3rd and 3. Hill with a clean pocket. Easy pitch and catch. Jarvis Davenport. 20-10-5 touchdown. 46 yards, Hill to Davenport.
Well, Maryland knows that Illinois loves to play a lot of man coverage, especially on 3rd and short. You have to play man, because if you don't, zone is throw, catch, first down. They run a crossing route. And then once Davenport caught it, he turned on the jets all the way to the house.
93-yard drive and 77 yards on 7-yarder, and then that 46-yard connection.
And that's been the story of their whole season. When you look at the statistics, you see Maryland is 100% in the red zone. They only have 15 opportunities because they're scoring so much on these explosive plays. They never have opportunities to work the red zone. Another explosive one there for the Terps.
3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions, leading to that long drive as Dre Brown finds a little bit of a gap across the 30 and spinning his way past the 35. Let's Go back. You break down that touchdown for us, James.
Yeah, well, when you're facing man coverage, I want you to look up top. It's Avery Edwards is going to run a drag, setting up a natural pick on the DBs for Jarvis Davenport. So when you know you're facing a man coverage team, the DBs can't run into the wide receivers. They have to go around. And then Jayshon Jones with a huge block to spring them. Look at this effort. Nice clean block. Springs his buddy, his wide receiver for a touchdown. A huge play for Maryland.
Good block from a freshman wide receiver. Reggie Corbin, he's trapped in the backfield as we go to Chicago and join Mike Hall for a BTN update. Safety, field goal, and a cold rest at her touchdown pass. An interesting start. And a good start for Iowa as that pass is incomplete, intended for Ricky Smalling.
So these are the situations you want to avoid with a freshman quarterback.
There's a late flag as well out there. Our referee, Jerry McGinn.
Looks like it's going to be against Illinois.
From the 33.
Speculation is ineligible receiver downfield.
There's a flag on the previous play.
Ineligible receiver, downfield, number 79. Penalties decline, third down.
And they decline it. That's on the left tackle, Vidarian Lowe. So Lovie Smith and company dealing with that 3rd and 13. We'll see what the youngster MJ Rivers can do here.
Notice that wide bunch on the bottom of your screen. Don't be surprised if it's some kind of halfback draw, trying to avoid this 3rd and extra long.
Rivers with time. Fires a fastball and another drop. Sam Mays. Boy, they sure aren't helping MJ Rivers so far in this first quarter.
No, and Illinois is showing confidence in their young quarterback to throw the football there on 3rd and 13. Like we said already, the receivers have to make these catches for the young quarterback. You want him to have confidence. And right now, the frustration, as Elise pointed out earlier, is just going to mount for MJ Rivers because you have guys out there dropping the football.
Illinois had a 3rd and 10, a 3rd and 5, a 3rd and 13, and they failed on all 3. And Maryland has taken advantage of those situations, and here's a return. Tavon Jacobs run out of bounds on the far sideline. Next Saturday, more Big Ten football coming your way. Look at those matchups. Nebraska, Ohio State on Fox, and on BTN, Rutgers against 20th ranked Wisconsin, and Minnesota and Illinois at 3:30. Of course, you can always watch all those games on the Fox Sports app as well. Well, Wisconsin, though, dropped one today in Evanston.
Yeah, Northwestern, the job that Pat Fitzgerald has done and continues to do year in, year out. The Wildcats at his alma mater. It's truly remarkable how he develops his guys and gets the most out of them.
Seems like always a slow start and then a big finish for Northwestern. Off the play action. Down the sideline, diving attempt. Ty Johnson couldn't reel it in.
2nd and 10 from the 37.
I said it earlier, they're taking some shots downfield.
They are, and that's a nice job by Del'Shawn Phillips, because Ty Johnson has some serious speed, so it shows Phillips' speed as well. When you're in that good trail position, it forces Kasim Hill to have to make a perfect throw. Whereas if you're a step or two behind, that's an easier throw. Nice job by Phillips, staying with his man.
Well, you said he's an athletic linebacker. That's a lot to ask of a linebacker on that route.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Looked like you back in your days.
No,
right?
no,
You know?
he's got much more speed than I have.
Rolling right, pressure comes, Roundtree almost got him. But Hill able to spin free and then slide forward to the 40.
Tackled by Ware.
Again, a nice job by Phillips. This is called a roll pass where the quarterback fakes one way, rolls to the right. And what Phillips does is he's able to get on Ty Johnson, which was Kasim Hill's first read. And then Hill was able to, with a nifty spin move, get out of the grasp of Roundtree. But that's 2 plays in a row by Phillips. That requires really good eyes and focus. taking away the first option.
And now a 3rd and 7. Illinois bringing the bundle, and a hurried pass is incomplete. In the direction of Jay Sean Jones, 4th and 7, punt team on.
Well, both these teams want to avoid the 3rd and long situations, and you can see why so far. Some throws that are off, some drops for Illinois. You got to find a rhythm. You got to rely on that run game and try to make these more 3rd and shorts.
Couldn't take advantage of it there as Illinois was bringing extra pressure. And now Wade Lees, the 30-year-old punter from Melbourne. 2nd oldest punter in college football. And Nate Hobbs is gobbled up right away. Nowhere to go. Said it at the top of the broadcast. First ever meeting between these two schools. The last Big Ten matchup to take place. Take a look at the oldest, the newest, the closest, and then the most one-sided of the matchups in the conference.
Yeah, and I know our producer, Bart Fox, doesn't want to talk about the most one-sided ones right there, being a Hoosier.
Oh, sorry, Bart. Look at the first meeting, though. You think about it, of course, Maryland just joined the conference in 2014, but strange to think that there's still a matchup out there that hadn't happened until today. Reggie Corbin bouncing it to the outside, and he's escorted out around the 31.
That was really nice patience that time by Reggie Corbin. He does such a nice job that once he's in the hole, even just kind of stopping his feet a little bit, waiting for his linemen to continue to strain on their blocks, and then using that speed to get out of the hole.
I think he does have a little extra juice today, Reggie Corbin, back in his hometown. I mentioned he went to Gonzaga High School, and you know, he was a great football player there, obviously. He also won 2 rugby national titles in 2014 and 2015. Long throw from Rivers, winding up, but it's out of bounds. Intended for Ricky Smalling. We even have some evidence of those rugby days. Here's the 2015 national championship team, and also Maryland's Johnny Jordan on the O-line. He played on that team.
I mean, that's amazing. What it tells me is that those guys are tough. When you're playing football and rugby, it tells me you like contact and you're a tough guy.
Yeah, and that program perennially one of the best in the nation. Obviously, from the evidence that we told you. Taking off M.J. Rivers. Not a lot of real estate. Darnell Savage and company bringing him down.
Well, that's a really nice job by Isaiah Davis. The Mike linebacker from Maryland took on the puller. You can hear it up here in the contact. And then Darnell Savage runs the alley, makes a nice tackle, forcing a 3rd long, the big 3rd long. If you're Maryland, trying to keep this momentum, you have the lead. Want to get off the field here.
Another passing situation. M.J. Rivers just 1 of 7 for 6 yards so far, although he has had a couple of drops from his receivers. This time it's complete, and he's going to get the first down. Out of the backfield, it's Corbin. And all the way inside the 40 of the Maryland Terrapins.
And a really nice job by Illinois giving them time. That offensive line gave M.J. Rivers time to throw the football. It allowed Corbin to get across the field.
Warning. Maryland.
And we had a flag at the end of that play. It's a sideline warning for Maryland. So there will be Lovie Smith in his 3rd year at 60 years old, and Matt Canada thrust into the interim spot at 46 years of age, his 1st year with the program. And both guys trying to navigate their side to a bowl game.
Yeah, this is important. This is just an important measure on where your university is at, where your football team, the trajectory of what you're trying to accomplish on both of these sides.
Well, Lovie Smith was adamant in saying, you know, we're better than our record shows. He's really surprised by the 3 blowout losses that Illinois has had so far this year. They're down 14-3, but trying to mount a drive. Corbin has been the man so far. He has 79 of Illinois' 109 total yards of offense so far.
Yeah, that's quite the homecoming. And when every time I look up after they run the football, it seems that they've gained 4 or 5 yards. We've seen some of the more explosive runs, but the offensive line has done a nice job getting push on that Maryland front. makes it a much more manageable third down.
Yeah, third medium. We'll see what they opt to do. Jay Rivers checks with the sideline and lets the guys up front know what's going on. Moves out, fires, wide open. First down. Ricky Smalling with a nice move and a nice spin to take it inside the 10. First and goal, Illini.
Well, it looked like some confusion on the Maryland defense as they totally leave Smalling uncovered in the middle of the field. You saw two Terps chasing the same guy.
Now they go quickly. Flag comes in at the end of this play as Corbin is tackled right around the 5. Flag came flying from the backside.
Holding, offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's on the sophomore center, Doug Kramer.
You can see big 65 right here. That left arm extended. Whenever you see a big D lineman flail like that, he knew it. Although, being a defender, you see a lot of defensive football players trying to encourage the ref to toss that flag out for you.
Yeah, that was Oluwashana Timmy, the nose tackle, being held for Maryland. So that backs Illinois up. Rivers pumps, buys time, and he's going to tuck it and run and step out inside the 20 before the 15.
Another smart decision by MJ Rivers. I've been impressed so far with the young quarterback. He's not forcing anything early in this football game. He's thrown the ball away a couple times. He's pulled it down just trying to get no gain a couple times. Showing really good composure for being a true freshman.
Saw A.J. Bush a moment ago just watching from the sideline. Will he get a shot today? That remains to be seen. So far it's been all MJ Rivers, and this time disrupted as he tried to dump it over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Smalling, and now it's third and goal here.
And that time, really nice job by Maryland's coverage. He had nowhere to go with the football. The secondary holding up nicely.
Well, it's third and goal, but you're at the 16. What do you draw up here?
Yeah. You have to be very careful not to get too aggressive here. You already can assume you have 3 points. You got to take care of the football, not try to force anything if you're MJ Rivers.
13th play of the drive. Maryland only rushes 4. Rivers still searching. Firing a fastball that's incomplete. Trenard Davis went up the ladder to try to grab it, but he could not haul it in.
Look at the top of the routes. No one is open. Where do you want MJ Rivers to go with the football? Really nice job by the secondary of Maryland, holding up in the red zone.
And so now a 34-yarder. He already hit the 32-yarder earlier, Chase McLaughlin. And because MJ Rivers has not had many lanes to throw, Illinois is settling for 2 field goals. Maryland had the 97-yard kick return and then the 46-yard pass connection for their 2 scores as Chase McLaughlin tees it up after his 34-yard field goal over the head of Ty Johnson. Check back in with Elise.
Brandon, on the sideline, Matt Canada went over to his quarterback, Kasim Hill, and he told him, just throw, just play. So, James, to your point from earlier, he's trying to get his quarterback not to think too much back there. And Canada told us that he really tries to keep the message positive with Hill. He's really big into visualization, so he's never going to tell him not to do something, like don't throw an interception. He's always going to say, do this. So right now with that message, just throw, he just wants him to be loose.
So far, Hill 3 of 7, 78 yards, and that 46-yard touchdown. trying to get the ground game established. Before this run, they only had 10 yards. Ty Johnson tackled by Cameron Watkins. Good tackle by Watkins, because if he got that outside, that could have gone a long way.
Yeah, if he bounced outside, Ty Johnson would have went all the way to the house. Nice job by Watkins, sinking his hips, striking on the rise. That's a nice job.
There aren't many experienced players on Illinois on the defensive side, but this is Cameron Watkins' 4th year in the program, a redshirt junior. And Delshawn Phillips is their only senior on the 2 deep defensively. Second effort for Ty Johnson, and he gets the first down out to the 36. Tonight on BT, and don't miss it, big time showdown in volleyball. You got 6th ranked Illinois heading to Lincoln to battle number 9 Nebraska, all powered by American Ethanol. Tonight at 8 Eastern on BT and the Fox Sports app.
We've had some good volleyball games of late here on BTN.
Oh, heck of it. And it's the conference in volleyball, second to none. We're going to see another great matchup tonight right here. Play action, Kasim Hill. Deep shot between the seams, and it's a drop. Davenport, oh, that is one that he should have had. He had the touchdown catch earlier in the game.
And he had him. He dropped that thing right where he needed to, right through the hands of Davenport, and that would have been 6 had he been able to come up with that one. Kasim Hill had multiple wide receivers open on that, with Illinois playing as much man as they do. Matt Canada drawing up the big play attempt, and again, drops have been hurting both sides so far.
Absolutely, that should have been a 77-yard touchdown pass. Davenport knew it, went right to the sideline after the drop. Javon Leak, what a hole! Well, the drop may not matter, because on the very next play, Javon Leak goes 64 yards to the house. Touchdown, Maryland. Explosive plays continue to be a friend of Maryland. Now there is a flag at the very end of this play in the back of the end zone. See if this is for excessive celebration. Jerry McGinn with the announcement.
Add to the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 20. The 15-yard penalty of being forced on the kickoff. The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Matt Canada told Javon Leak, that's all right. You scored the touchdown. Just keep doing your thing.
When you have explosiveness like that and you're able to take multiple plays in the same game to the house, you tend to let some of those things go a little bit.
Boy, what a game for Javon Leak. And the 3 Maryland touchdowns have gone for 45 yards or more, a 21-6 lead. That tells the story right there, explosive plays.
You can see why Matt Canada wanted to get Javon Leak more touches. Said he didn't really have a good training camp. He didn't have a good fall camp, but has really come on strong over the last few weeks. Said he earned the right to get more touches in the play. And gosh, you see why.
Because they had all those options, McFarland, Fleet Davis, Johnson. Leak fell in 4th, but they also had Lorenzo Harrison before he tore his ACL, and then Jake Funk, who's out with a broken hand. And Matt Canada said, we had 6 options back there, and it was tough to get Leak a lot of reps. Dre Brown almost dropped that kick return, but he was able to grab it. And the penalty was assessed on the kickoff. That's why they were able to return it out to the 45 as we go back to the touchdown run.
Yeah, look at the left side of your screen here. You have Cameron Watkins set and contained. Jake Hansen's going to fill inside. You'll have all these white jerseys if Cameron can just hold on. Instead, he gets attached on the block, can't detach to make a tackle, and Javon Leak does the rest. Every single defense has a man to set the edge. It looked like his jersey was there, but you have to shed those blocks to make the tackles.
Once he got to the second level, nobody was home. Reggie Corbin, who's back home and getting another carry, will take it to the 48 for a pickup of 4.
He puts it, I'll tell you what, that's only a 4 or 5 yard gain, but he put some shakes out there in the corner, and Rashad Lewis. Nifty moves by Corbin.
And a big focus for Corbin this week is holding on to the football. He had 2 fumbles lost in that first half against Wisconsin last week. Holding on to the football here and picking up the first down.
And Illinois has been able to get over 5 yards per carry so far in this game. I expect them to keep running the football. That is who they are. And maybe hit some play action passes off of it. But stick with your identity if you're Illinois.
Corbin was 66 yards on the ground himself, so now he gets a breather, and they go to Rayvon Bonner. Hey, you're getting 5-6 yards a chunk, like you said. Keep doing it, right?
Yeah, why change it up? Keep attempting it. Keep grinding, wearing down this Maryland defense, and then once you get a little closer, take a shot. Go for the end zone.
Bonner on the season over 5 yards per carry, 5.4, and this time another big chunk. Will be marked down right around the line to gain as he's dropped by Antoine Richardson. They will give him the first.
And this is the area of the field where most coordinators like to take that chance, take that shot. We used to call this the shot zone. The red zone is, goal line to the 20. That's where teams call it a certain way. And really, that 25 to 35 is the shot zone.
See what they do here. MJ Rivers, the freshman from Frisco, Texas. Sees a little room, he's going to take off. Ooh, hit hard inside the 30, but he pops up okay.
And I thought he had a chance to take that shot to Ricky Smalling. He was in man coverage with Rayvon Davis. If he were to put some air on it, could have allowed his wide receiver to run under it. Although you'll take the 7-yard gain on the QB scramble as well.
But the passing lanes just haven't been there, as we've documented, for Rivers. Kept it himself, gets the first down. Fans only, the Journey Big Ten Football 2018 captures all the emotion, all the drama of the season. And don't miss an all-new episode featuring a look at Illinois running back Reggie Corbin, Tuesday, November 6th, 11 Eastern, right here on BT, and you won't want to miss that. 7th straight run for Illinois, and it is to the man that will be featured on the Journey, Reggie Corbin. Taking him into the red zone, a pickup of 5.
Again, if you're Rod Smith, what 2nd and 5 does to you as a play caller, it allows you to have so much more flexibility with what's next. Because a 3rd and 5 is a lot better than obviously a 3rd and 10. So it gives you just a lot more plays at your disposal.
Well, everything's open here on 2nd and 5, and it's going to be a quarterback run, but boy, the blockers out in front got swallowed quickly, and coming up to make the tackle, Antoine Brooks.
Antoine Brooks lives in opponents' backfields. Last year, he had the most tackles for loss out of any DB in the Big Ten. He's already had 2 today. He just attacks. They love to blitz him. They love to send him, does Andy Boo, the D coordinator. You see him flash on film a lot. Nice job there.
So you mentioned 2 today, now 8.5 tackles for loss on the season for him. And on 3rd and 8, a throw to the right is batted down, intended for Ricky Smalling. But good defense by Rayvon Davis.
And a nice stop by Maryland's defense. You've seen Illinois have some drives, and then they get to the red zone and they stall out a little bit. That's a great effort by Davis, getting his hand in there, staying off the back of Ricky Smalling to avoid any defensive penalty. But the bend but don't break mentality is what works. Football is about game of points. And if you hold the 3 over 6 every time, especially with that explosive offense, things tend to go your way.
Illinois has had 7 third downs, but every one of them has been 5 yards or longer. They have not had any 3rd and shorts. Because of that, they haven't been able to convert in the red zone.
Illinois kickoff goes for a touchback.
Let's go to Chicago. Here's Mike Hall. And it goes without saying, He is the leader, the spark on that Penn State offense. Total yards pretty even. McFarland. Ooh. Hit hard by Delano Ware at the end of that play.
Watch Ware come from the inside out. Great pursuit on the football. You very rarely get a chance to eye up a running back where he has no chance of making a move on you because he's already being wrapped up to deliver a blow, try to dislodge the football. Nice job by McFarland holding on.
Nassim Hill, easy over the middle. And all the way out to the 50 for Jayshon Jones as we go back downstairs to Elise.
This Illinois defense is searching for stops on the sideline. They're saying we have to get him down when he's in the secondary, and talking about Javon Leak and linebacker Jake Hansen going over to his squad saying they don't score again. And of course, Lovie Smith went over and he's talking to them about tackling, which we know he is big with.
Saw the powerful tackle by Delano Ware, but boy, they got to start to rattle and wrangle in, I should say, this Maryland offense. Better job that time, just 2 yards.
Jake Hansen doing a nice job filling. He's not only being vocal on the sidelines, but he's stepping up and making plays on the interior. Does a nice job stepping in that A gap, which is between the center and the guard of the offensive line, and a nice sure tackle. He sees the game well when you watch him on film. Has a good sense of where the ball's going. Great instincts. And they know defensively, listen, our offense is only putting up field goals. We can't let them get touchdowns. We have to keep pace. We need a big stop.
Second and 8. Hill made the right decision. Pulled it just in the nick of time and got the first down with a pickup of 13.
Well, you see some of that deception right there. You have the pullers come down here to the bottom of your screen to get some of the Illinois defense to flow, and a great decision by Nassim Hill to pull that ball.
If he didn't, Bobby Roundtree was going to drop him for a loss. Javon Leak with 1 yard. Maryland now with 101 yards on the ground this quarter.
And that may have been a touchdown-saving tackle there by Hansen. Holding on for dear life. If you let him break that arm tackle, we've already seen today what Javon Leak can do once he hits that second level.
McFarland pushed out. It's going to be a yard shy of the first down marker.
Third and 1 from the 25.
Third down and 1. Is this possible 4-down territory?
I would think so. Make it a long field goal here. You're an explosive offense. You have an opportunity to try to put an early dagger on this Illinois team.
First time we've seen Tayon Fleet Davis almost slip through. Jake Hansen with a touchdown saving tackle, gain of 7.
We've mentioned his name a lot on this drive. He's playing his heart out. He's trying to do everything he can to help that defense come up with a big stop. They need to force Maryland to a field goal here if they want to keep pace.
First time that Maryland has been in the red zone in this game, despite having 3 touchdowns. Hansen again on the tackle. Sophomore from Florida, and you know his dad Shad is the all-time leading tackler at BYU at 408 tackles as a Cougar.
When you watch film, you can just tell that he has great instincts, that he studies the game, because he very rarely takes false steps. And as you see on this drive, he always just has a nose for the football, finds himself around the ball a whole lot.
Hill off the play fake. Illinois, though, able to rally quickly to Tavon Jacobs after the catch. So now you got a 3rd and medium coming up.
This is a big 3rd down for Lovie Smith in Illinois. You know how much Maryland has been scoring, how quickly they've been scoring on these explosive plays. This is an opportunity to try to grasp some momentum defensively, just to be able to say, you know, clap it up and give the guys high five saying good stop in the red zone, forcing Maryland to a field goal.
Approaching 2 minutes left in the half. And we're going to get a timeout by Matt Canada.
Timeout.
What's a crowded running back room?
Very crowded running back room, and they're hoping to get Jake Funk back with that broken hand at some point. 3rd down and 6, 10th play of the drive here. Hill looking in zone, touchdown! Jayshon Jones. Kasim Hill's 2nd touchdown pass of the game.
And a nice job putting air on this, throwing it over Hansen to Jones. The young quarterback has to be excited to get the 6 before half.
Both of Hill's touchdown passes have come on 3rd down. That last time, 14 yards to the freshman from Fort Myers, Florida. And now let's take a look at this message from ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire, the official hiring partner of the Big Ten Conference.
Some job boards give you tons of the wrong resumes. That's not smart. Then there's smart. ZipRecruiter finds people with the right skills, education, and experience for your job and actively invites them to apply, so you get qualified candidates fast. That's why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. ZipRecruiter, the official hiring partner of the Big Ten Conference. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Big10.
Jayshon Jones, he was the guy week 1 against Texas that had a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown all in the same game. But how about Maryland in the red zone? They've been perfect this season.
They haven't been there a lot because they're so explosive, but when they've gotten there, they've delivered. They are the best in the Big Ten, the only perfect team in the Big Ten. They already have 111 passing yards today. They've been averaging 110 a game. Already 111 and a half.
Short kick, Dre Brown. Brown bounces it outside. Pushed out right around the 50. Good return by Brown. November 6th, get ready for some basketball. Returning to BT in Chicago State and Indiana, the debut of Romeo Langford, and then Norfolk State and 19th ranked Michigan off their Final Four trip. Hard to believe it, but hoops is here.
It's the best time of the year when you have
Get
all these sports firing up. Plenty to watch.
Reggie Corbin in the backfield is dropped for a loss of 1. Ellis and company got there. Nobody was fooled for the Terps.
Tackle by Tommy. Loss of 1, 2nd and 11 before 9.
Ricky Smalling couldn't hold on. He was hit by Rayvon Davis right as it arrived at the number.
Yeah, and Rayvon Davis, that's a couple times we've mentioned his name already, doing a really nice job on Smalling. And this is a critical 3rd down for Illinois. Try to gain some momentum before halftime.
Still 1:25 left. So if you don't get it, you punt it back to Maryland. They're still going to have 2 timeouts. And for Illinois, the same story. Another 3rd and long. Some movement up front. D tackle Mbitanyi may have jumped early. He may have been the first man.
Offside. Defense, number 50, with contact. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And it was Tanyi. So that helps Illinois a little. Now 3rd and 6. They need to get to the 40. Rivers. Flag comes in on the backside as Rivers throws for the first down, at least momentarily, finding Sam Mays.
On the ball, the first play of the series, they get a chunk like that, it gives them a little bit more motivation to take a chance.
Kasim Hill, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Staying with the ground game. McFarland has got another first down.
And that was the same exact play as the first play out of a different formation. A lot of window dressing with this Maryland offense. We mentioned it, the shifts, the motions, all the stuff that they do, but they did the same exact play, pulling 2 offensive linemen, McFarland around the corner.
Matt Canada said, yeah, it looks fancy, but it's really one of the simplest offenses in the country. It's been effective today. The other side in a big hole. So 3 good-sized carries here for McFarland.
McFarland carries.
And they're going to burn their final timeout with 18 seconds left. And we'll take a 30-second break and be right back. Kasim Hill trying to pilot this offense downfield. 3 straight 11-yard carries by McFarland has Maryland in decent shape near midfield.
And 3 straight plays where they decided to pull 2 offensive linemen around the corner. They're recognizing something that Illinois is doing alignment-wise to keep attacking the perimeter of that defense.
Joseph Petrino's long this season, 40 yards for the true freshman. This time they're going to look to throw it. Hill pressured and taken down as he releases it. Are they ruling this a fumble? Stanley Green picks it up and returns it inside the 30, but it looked like Hill had released the football with forward motion. Am I wrong?
Ruling on the field. It's a fumble. Recovered by Illinois. 1st and 10.
That's got to be a pass.
That sure looks like a pass to me.
The previous play of a fumble is under further review.
It's a nice job with the upper body strength of Kasim Hill. Bobby Roundtree was draped all over him. His arm was on that, his right bicep, but to have the strength to get the forward motion.
Yeah, Roundtree has been wreaking havoc when has been getting into the backfield. I'm with you, though. Good job by Hill, and it definitely looked like a forward pass. Dean Blandino, do you agree with us? Do you see something different?
You guys don't need me for this one. This is a forward pass. You know, 2 things to look for. You know, was he down prior to the ball coming loose, or was the hand coming forward? And the hand is clearly coming forward.
Okay, Dean, thank you.
You never know, man. We got to bring in the experts.
Absolutely.
We're amateurs up here when it comes to officiating.
I'd rather somebody yell at Dean than you and I, right?
surprised it's taken this long.
Seems like sometimes, though, those officials will let it play out knowing that they can go to replay. And they also have to get the clock right here. So you got Jerry McGinn over there trying to figure that out at the end of this as well.
And as our friend Kevin Kugler brought to my attention last week, whenever the second official brings the notepad over,
that's when you know there's a clock adjustment.
Well, and that, not only the clock adjustment, but where's the ball going to be spotted? And then also, you know, just essentially it's an overturn of what the previous call was. That's why you need all that information, taking notes.
So right now 7 seconds, but presumably about 6 seconds or so will be added to this. We'll see.
And I'm not against the refs letting that play out because of the fact that you have review. That's a game-changing, possibly tight play. And so if it's the other way where it is a fumble and they blow it dead and they get the recovery, where all it is a clear recovery, right? It's not you don't get the advancement and the extra yardage. So I'm okay with the refs letting that play if they're a little bit uncertain, because you have the benefit of replay overturning it.
If they do rule it incomplete, which we assume they definitely will, the ball will come back to the 48 of Maryland. Now Jerry McGinn's ready.
After further review, the quarterback threw the ball. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 48-yard line, the right hash. Clock operator, please put 14 seconds, 1-4, on the game clock. Thank you.
Okay, so it doubles from 7 to 14 seconds. You're still a decent pass or 2 quick passes away from a field goal try here for Joseph Petrino. He's ready if needed.
Second and 10 from the 48.
Maryland out of timeouts, but Illinois has 3, and they're going to use one right here.
Timeout.
Another 30-second break. So a lot going on here in the final 30 seconds or so of the second quarter, as Maryland tries to add to that 28-9 advantage.
And before that timeout, Kasim Hill was under center, which leads you to believe that they're going to run the clock out, as he is again right here.
Run the jet sweep. Jayshon Jones, and he gets out of bounds at the 41. Okay, from here it would be about a 58-yarder. It's another 11-yard game. We'd have 4 11-yard runs on this drive, interestingly enough. Getting ready to wind the clock. And because of the substitution, they had to wait, and the clock almost ran out, and then Hill tried to spike it. And Hill's saying, what was that all about? They were holding for the substitution, and then the clock expires, and that will be the end of the second quarter. But all in all, a half that Matt Canada and company can hang their hat on. Quite a few explosive plays, and they take a comfortable lead into the lockers.
Yeah, if you're Maryland, you have to be happy at halftime, but you're telling your guys, we need to finish. We need to go out there in the second half and keep up the tempo, keep up the big plays. That they felt they could get better so far. none happened in the day.
He said that's been his identity ever since he was a coach way back when, obviously through the NFL days. That's how he said he can tell, as you were talking about, James, if a defense is really bought in. Are they stripping the football? Are they getting those turnovers? But it's going to be his offense with the first go around here in the second half. Dre Brown. A nice return in the first half, and here he's going to give Maryland pretty good field position out across the 35. But Elise was talking about Matt Canada's defense. And last week against Iowa, yeah, they lost 23-0, but there was a defensive touchdown. They only gave up one touchdown to the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, they played well, and they've played well all season long. They're second in the Big Ten against the pass, only letting up 175 through the air a game. They've only let up 53 so far in this football game.
So he has reason to be pleased so far with that defensive effort. So again, it's A.J. Bush in for M.J. Rivers, and the first pass, an errant pass to Trey Davis. Again, the passing has not been his strength. He's better with the legs.
Yeah, and with A.J. Bush in the ball game, I would look to see even more of those quarterback runs. I know the offense doesn't change at all, and that's what offensive coordinator Rod Smith told us, but his play calling does.
So Reggie Corbin, he gets the carry here to the 41. And it's going to be another situation where they're facing a third down and medium or long here. It's going to be 3rd and 6. And there's M.J. Rivers on the sideline. But out for the rest of today, so it's the A.J. Bush show. Bush pumps, fires, and he's got the first down. Boy, was that needed. Trey Davis, who they've targeted often, with the 18-yard reception.
And really, very rarely do you see a quarterback pump to the same side that he's throwing, double clutch, and get away with it. Nice job by Davis to come up with the catch.
3 of 9 now on third downs today, or the Fighting Illini. And it's Davis again, but this one's going in the wrong direction. A reception, but tackled in the backfield by Antoine Brooks.
That's another tackle for loss for Brooks, giving him 9.5, matching last year's total already with more games to play this year. He lives in the backfield. Nice job reading his keys and attacking, making sure that Davis didn't have much space.
Dropped him for a loss of 2. Design run here for Bush. Red shirt swarm led by Aluwatimi. So that's a 3-yard pickup, 3rd and 9. All 10 third downs that Illinois has had today have been either 3rd and 6 or longer.
And it's hard to be successful on offense and have a nice third down conversion rate when you're always in third long situations.
Once again, it's Trey Davis. All the way down to the 11. So after struggling on 3rd and long, they have completed their last 2. Both have gone from Bush to Davis.
And he threaded this in the zone there. Really nice job right between the linebackers.
29 yards, and this time a carry for Corbin as he slips it down inside the 10 to about the 8.
That last throw by Bush was extremely impressive. He was able to thread that between Isaiah Davis and Allende Ely, who's stepping in for Trey Watson. A really nice job of anticipation and putting a little zip on that ball. Crucial third down conversion for Illinois.
Good point about Ely coming in there with Watson gone for the day because of the targeting call. Easy toss out on a screen. Davis' 6th catch of the game, but this one's going for nothing thanks to Tino Ellis.
If you're Lovie Smith, you're thinking we have to get 6 here. We cannot afford to keep kicking field goals when we haven't displayed the ability to stop Maryland yet. You have to wonder if this is 4-down territory. If I'm Lovie Smith, it is.
Guess what? It's another 3rd down and 7. Keep your eye on Trey Davis. He's had the 2 3rd-down receptions this drive. They're looking his way again, but he can't haul in the touchdown. Had his hands on it. Rayvon Davis was there step for step.
Rayvon Davis has done a nice job all afternoon of just playing through the football, never giving up on the play. He's been disruptive at corner. Nice job getting that arm swinging around, knocking the ball away from Davis.
Laughlin, the senior, trying to make it a perfect 4 for 4 days so far. And he continues to have every point for the Fighting. You got to get the kids ready.
I might be Prince Ali. I don't know yet. It was pretty pricey on Amazon when I looked last time.
You know, you should go as James Laurinaitis in a Rams jersey. That's a popular outfit these days. Rayshon Lewis with the return. So we saw Javon Leak with a long 97-yard kick return. This time Lewis gets his first crack at it today. And the eyes shift back to Kasim Hill, the redshirt freshman from here in D.C. Had offers from Penn State, Michigan, 4-star kid, but wanted to stay close to home. Comes from a great family. His parents, Joe and Michelle, both Columbia grads, Ivy Leaguers, both power attorneys here in D.C. But Kasim Hill will defer to Anthony McFarland as we get a flag coming in. For the moment, it's a 2-yard pickup.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 96. The 15-yard penalty would be added on to the end of the run, automatic, 1st down.
And now let's check in with Mike Hall in Chicago. We said he makes that engine go.
Yeah, he does. He is a special player. Great competitor. Love watching that kid play the game.
Good to see him back out there. Hill sets up and is able to complete that great catch. Dante Demas, the true freshman, with his 3rd catch of the season. That was a nice one.
But when you have a wide receiver who's 6'4", you got to throw it up to him. Really nice touch by Hill. Putting that ball in the only spot where Demas could come up with it, just over the reach of Cameron Watkins. Kasim Hill has shown some nice touch here today in a passing game that has struggled throughout this season.
Well, they do feel like they've got 4 very good freshmen at wide receiver, Demas being one of them. Shows you a glimpse of the future that time. McFarland. Inside the 40, inside the 35, staying on his feet to pick up the 1st down. And then a flag on the backside here at the end.
That's Del'Shawn Phillips, a little slow to get up there. He had pursuit from the inside out, had an opportunity to get McFarland, showing off his speed, but McFarland just showing off his toughness, being able to shrug that tackle.
Add to the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 82. It's his 1st of the game. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So that's on the blocking tight end, Avery Edwards. Bit of a damper on the 13-yard run.
him right here is Edwards. Oh, that's real late.
Yeah. Just ran right into Owen Carney.
That's blatantly obvious for the official to throw that one.
So 1st and 10. How that works out after the penalty. Kasim Hill had to get rid of it. He knew it. Taking him to the ground, Delano Ware. 2nd and 10.
There's no foul on the play for intentional grounding. Quarterback was outside the pocket, and the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. 2nd down.
So no grounding on the explanation from Jerry McGinn.
This is a big series for Illinois. They got to get a stop here if they're able to try to claw back into this football game.
They give it to him on the sweep. Anthony, no, inside the 10. Jones reaches out for the pylon, but he's going to be short. Jayshon Jones, just his 6th rush of the season, and it's going to go for 42 yards.
See him here try to deliver a little extra stiff arm. That looks like a touchdown to me.
I'm with you.
I don't see any part of his body hitting the white.
He had Sidney Brown's face mask in his left
On
hand.
further review, the ruling on the field was that the runner was out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
So they will take another look at it. Looks like he's in.
Yeah, that's going to be a touchdown. Nice job of using the stiff arm.
Stiff arm and a full grab of that face mask. Jayshon Jones had the receiving touchdown earlier, and we mentioned that week 1 against Texas, he passed for 1, he caught 1, and he ran for 1.
And the first freshman to do so since Marcus Mariota. And Marcus Mariota was obviously a quarterback, so
yeah,
a lot easier to get some of those things done. It's impressive that a wide receiver is able to do all that.
I'm trying to see if there's any way they can mark him out before, but
I'll tell you what, it's frustrating as a defensive football player that a guy can stiff arm you to your face mask, yet if we touch the face mask at all,
flag comes in.
After further review, the runner had the ball that was inside the pylon in the end zone. By rule, touchdown.
And it is indeed a touchdown for Jayshon Jones. His 2nd of the game, and it's Maryland's 4th touchdown of 40 or more yards. I don't know if you've heard us say explosive plays have been big today, but explosive plays have been big today. And Petrino adds the extra point.
Down in the red zone.
And to that point, that's the 3rd time that Illinois kicked a field goal, and then Maryland scored less than 2 minutes later. Dre Brown is upended. Boy, what a big tackle, taking him down shy of the 25. But the story just continues to be those explosive plays. It's hard to believe 4 touchdowns of over 40 yards for Maryland.
Yeah, and it's coming from their young stars. You got Javon Leake, who's obviously had his coming out party here today, making his name known in College Park and obviously to everybody else around the nation. But also Jayshon Jones, a freshman wide receiver, doing a heck of a job for them, making a lot of big explosive plays.
He's got the 2 scores. Leak with the other 2 scores that you referenced. Just 1 yard that time for Rayvon Bonner. We've seen Dre Brown in the return game, but we have not really seen Brown out there carrying the ball. Now Bonner limps out. You already got Epstein injured from last week against Wisconsin, so keep an eye on that. And here is Dre Brown, just as I say that.
Right on cue.
It's like he had an IFB and earpiece in listening to the broadcast. Play fake. A.J. Bush uncorking one, but too far of anybody. The closest to it was Dominic Stamplin.
Yeah, and this is not what Illinois is built for, is to try to come back through the air. We've talked about how their pass game has been poor all season long. They're 12th in the Big Ten. They're only ahead of Rutgers and this Maryland team. This Maryland team has moved the ball through the air okay today. But this is not what they're meant for right here. Throwing the ball over the field, another third long.
Yep, 3rd and 9. But Bush did show a little pop. He threw that 46 yards on one leg. Now he's got to roll out of the pocket again. That was a nice effort by A.J. Bush. That is the element that he adds to this offense. Picks up a big first down, 13-yard gain.
A nice job of Maryland in coverage, but A.J. Bush just uses that speed and athleticism to pick it up, keeping the play alive. Those unscripted plays are extremely tough as a defensive coordinator to prepare for. Hard to simulate in practice all week. A.J. Bush's speed at QB.
Now he drops it, picks it back up, and completes it to Sam Mays. Good job to make a little something out of a busted play.
That was a savvy decision there by the senior. Not panicking off the drop snap, keeping the play alive.
10 yards and a first down. Now Reggie Corbin takes it into Illinois, or rather Maryland territory. Tonight on BTN, don't miss that big-time showdown, the nation's best volleyball conference, and 2 top 10 teams, Illinois and Nebraska, all powered by American Ethanol, 8 Eastern right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Play fake, and the senior Bush steps up, trying to find time off his back foot. And it's batted down, intended for Sam Mays. Tino Ellis with a good coverage.
Pass attempt for Mays, incomplete. Tino Ellis defending on the play. 3rd and 7 from the 40.
Well, right here, A.J. Bush has a man wide open down the field. And just because of the pressure, isn't able to set his feet and make that throw. That time, missed opportunity for Illinois.
Because of it, 3rd and 7. Oh, dangerous pass, incomplete. Had nowhere to go with it. The direction of Reggie Corbin, and now 4th and 7, and they'll have to punt it. Tavon Jacobs back for Maryland. And Blake Hayes, the #1 punter in the Big Ten as far as yards per kick go, will have a short field to work with here on the boot. Jayshon Jones, short return.
Exactly where it needed to be.
2 catches, 71 yards. He came in all year, 2 catches, 14 yards for Demas. And here's that man Leak. And Javon Leak is in. He's got the hat trick, his 3rd touchdown today. They waited late to call it. Let's see if he got in.
Well, it looks like that right foot stays in. The ball is on the inside of the pylon. What an impressive effort and body control. Make sure you don't step out of bounds there.
And guess what? Another long touchdown.
It has been impressive all day here from this Maryland offense and special teams.
For Kasim Hill only having 8 completions as a quarterback, he's put together a pretty good day as well. And Javon Leak, he is our Duluth Trading hardest working player.
And he started off early with the long kick return for a touchdown. 112 on the ground in the return game. 97 on the ground, showing off his speed. A lot of times he's had extremely good blocking from his offensive line as well on his 2 touchdown runs. He wasn't even touched on either of them until right near the goal line on that one, reaching in for 6.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from these explosive plays, but gosh, when they have hit the second level of that Maryland defense, there's been nobody home most of the time.
It's hard for safeties when you haven't seen a player and you don't really know his speed. That first time it shows up on you real quick. So maybe your angle is off a little bit. And I think some of the pursuit angles of these Illinois safeties have been off. They've been surprised by the speed of Javon Leak.
A.J. Bush in relief of M.J. Rivers, who left in concussion protocol, out for the rest of the game, and that pass is too tall in the direction of Spalding. 3rd and 10. Yet again, not the spot that Illinois wants to be in.
You sound like a broken record, but another 3rd and long. That's where Illinois has been all game long.
Five of 13 on the 3rd down conversions so far. Clean pocket for Bush. And a nice pass. Did he hang on to that? Yes. Carmani Green, first catch of the game. And it gets him into Maryland territory.
Well, A.J. Bush drops it in there right where Green can get it, and he did not catch that.
Yeah, that bounced off the ground.
See if they get this playoff.
They do. No, wait, they do not.
It looked like from up here, you could see him juggle it.
Did it hit his arm or the ground? I thought off that first replay that it hit the ground.
The ruling on the field was a completed catch. The previous plays on a further review.
Of course, keep in mind, they're also going to need undisputed, I mean, we always say that, but video evidence to overturn it.
I mean, a beautifully placed ball by A.J. Bush.
I think that hits the ground, doesn't it?
Yeah, I believe that ball hits the ground. I think there's plenty of evidence there that this will be overturned, which is really a shame because we've talked a lot about Illinois' struggles to move the ball through the air. A.J. Bush puts it on the money, and his receivers have been dropping them.
Dean, is there enough to overturn it?
To me, there is. He's going to the ground. The ball hits the ground. I don't think the arm is underneath it. I think the nose of the ball touches the ground. And you can see when they're jotting down that information, they've got to get the clock, go back and get the previous spot. So I think they're going to overturn this.
Thank you, Dean. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how they jot down the notes, and they were clearly doing that. And yeah, every angle that we have had, that appears to be the case. So Jerry McGinn just making sure he has all the accurate, relevant information.
That's got to be frustrating. If you're on that Illinois sideline.
Carmani Green seems confident he caught it. But yeah, it has to be frustrating,
you have to be
no
frustrated,
doubt.
the fact that here you are, you finally get a nice, accurate
At
throw.
the further review, it was an incomplete pass. The ball hit the ground. It'll be 4th and 10 at the 26-yard line. Clock operator, please put 4:58 on the game clock. Thank you.
And Illinois, they've had quite a few drops in this game.
Yeah, when you have quarterbacks, especially when you had M.J. Rivers in and he's young, you need to have him get some confidence early in these games. You need your receivers to come up with these catches. Over and over, missed opportunities by the Illini to make a play for either quarterback that's been in the game.
Combine the two quarterbacks, 10 of 28, no touchdowns and the interception. So on 4th and 10, Blake Hayes with a boot. Tavon Jacobs' flag comes in there, right where Jacobs was starting to return it. That's going to be against Maryland. But a longer conference than maybe we expected taking place right now before they announced the flag, with 4:50 left in the third quarter. Looked pretty clear to me.
It's just good discussion down there by the referee crew.
Yeah.
Getting the call right, getting the details ironed out.
Better to have it right than quick.
There's 2 fouls on the play, both on the receiving team. During the return, holding. Number 44, that penalty would be accepted from the end of the kick. Legal block in the back. On the receiving team, number 2, that penalty's declined, 1st and 10.
Okay, so they declined the one on Rayvon Davis. They accept the one on Chance Campbell in your screen right now.
Well, that's what the conference was about. When you have a couple penalties, the ref has to make sure he can verbalize all that to everybody. So that's a lot to get out there.
That's the one thing that hasn't gone well for Maryland today or this season. They have been penalty prone.
Yeah. And I mean, whenever you have a lot of penalties in a game where you're winning big, you'd rather have it be that way if you're Matt Canada. That way you can be a little harsher on the guys after a victory. And sometimes after a loss, you're trying to build guys back up to get the energy level where you want it during the week of practice.
So this drive will start from the 21. Will tunnel to Brian Cobbs, his first catch of the game, and look out! Across the 50 into Illinois territory, and the big plays continue. That one for 35 yards, and look at all of these explosive plays.
Yeah, and you can add that last one to it with the 35-yard reception there by Cobbs. Another freshman wideout for this Maryland team. And when you have a redshirt freshman at quarterback in Kasim Hill, and we've seen 3 different freshman wide receivers make plays today, you have to be excited in the future if you're a Maryland football fan.
Yeah, you often forget that Kasim Hill is still just a redshirt freshman. We talked about the injury earlier that he had last year. McFarland trying to get around the outside. No success. Jake Hansen, another tackle for number 35 in white.
And he's had a good football game. It's hard when your team's down 42-12 and you've given up a bunch of yards and explosive plays, but we've seen him make a lot of tackles at or near the line of scrimmage. He's an active linebacker, and he's playing well this season.
Missed last year with injury, making up for it in a big way in 2018. And Hill hit as he throws. Bobby Roundtree got in there. Let's go back downstairs to Elise Menaker.
The 2 starting cornerbacks for Illinois are banged up, Nate Hobbs and Cameron Watkins. I can tell you that I saw them tape up Cameron Watkins' right foot. He's been in and out of the tent. No details on Nate Hobbs.
Tony Adams not playing today, also a defensive back. Missing linebackers Dele Harding and Jimmy Marquez. So some injuries on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and you hate to see injuries too when they come in a defeat like this. It's just deflating for your entire roster.
Blitz coming, they set up the screen, and it works pretty well. Very well. Into the red zone goes Tavon Jacobs. That's how you draw it up.
Yeah, Illinois had a pressure, if you notice here, and a perfect play call by Matt Canada to run a screen behind it. And another big gain. That's twice now on this drive that Maryland has run screens for explosive gains.
That was a thing of beauty with all those big uglies, all of them out there pushing up front downfield.
Now Matt Canada gets some more red zone work, which he was telling us he needed to get in this game.
And with all the long touchdowns, they haven't been in the red zone too much. Not much there for McFarland. Weeknights, BTN's insiders are going to bring you the latest news from around the conference, yes, but they also discuss college football's major storylines and tell you what to watch for around the country. Big Ten football and beyond, weeknights here on BTN. And with this comfortable 30-point lead, Maryland certainly in no hurry here on offense. McFarland, 10-5, and he's going to step out before getting in the end zone. We also have a flag that came in on the back side of the play. And Illinois is signaling that this is going to go against the Terrapins.
Personal foul, hands to the face, offense, number 55, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, second down.
Senior left tackle Derwin Gray.
Well, Derwin Gray is pulling around, and right here, you're going to see his left hand gets up in the face of Delshawn Phillips. That's an easy one. Whenever you see any player on either side, when you have hands to the face, their head jerked back, that's an easy indicator for an official to toss that yellow flag out.
Yeah, the easy call, and it backs him to the 31 instead of having it down around the goal line. So second and 22 there on the spot foul. And they'll go on the sweep to Brian Cobbs. He had the long catch earlier this quarter, this time the run to the 24.
This offense is the most unique offense that I've seen so far out of all the teams that I've studied in doing games. The fact that they will motion and they will hand off to wide receivers. They'll put running back in those positions and do running back sweeps. They utilize their skill in a way that a lot of teams don't. A lot of teams just say, hey, they're a wideout, they'll be catching balls, all of that. Maybe they have one guy, right, that people can kind of key on for those jet sweeps. Maryland has multiple, a lot of toys to play with if you're Matt Canada.
Do they ever? Kasim Hill throws for the end zone, wide open, touchdown. When the pressure was coming, he threw it at the last second and found Okonkwo, the freshman, for 6 points. There was nobody within 10 yards of Okonkwo.
No, that was a busted coverage by Illinois. And a nice job by Kasim Hill, keeping his eyes down the field. Look at the pocket that he has. He's not stepping up to scramble, he's stepping up to throw. Does so accurately for the touchdown.
25-yard touchdown pass. 7 touchdowns for Maryland in this game. 6 of them have been for 25 yards or more. And we'll be back in 30 seconds. So Okonkwo, guess what? Yet another freshman talented wide receiver for Maryland. His first catch, and it's a 25-yard touchdown.
It's been impressive to see the talent that they have there, the young talent. And it's funny, in talking to both of these coaches, we asked them about that redshirt rule and the 4 games, and both of them in different ways basically said, look, we're trying to play the best players that we have to win football games. And you've seen that youth on display today.
Next Saturday, more Big Ten football coming your way. You see the doubleheader at noon, Nebraska, Ohio State, and Rutgers at Wisconsin. And then another one on BTN at 3:30, Minnesota traveling to Illinois to face these Fighting Illini. Watch all of it on the Fox Sports app as well.
I think Wisconsin will drop out of the top 25 after the loss to Northwestern. Big loss, too.
Yeah, Northwestern, they're bumping closer to that top 25. Big hole. Look out, Reggie Corbin, foot race. And Reggie Corbin's going to win the foot race and say goodbye and hello to the end zone. 69 yards. And that's nice for the DC native coming back home to hit pay dirt from 69 yards away.
We told you at the open about his explosiveness, his ability. He wasn't touched. And Maryland's defense hadn't allowed a 30-yard rush all season. Well, that was the first. They were the only Big Ten team not to allow one.
And that was well over 30. Well, Illinois had all the trouble scoring inside the red zone, so they said, well, we'll just go for a long touchdown run.
And a really nice job by the offensive line for Illinois. Like I said, Corbin wasn't touched. And then he displays that speed to get to the end zone. Really nicely done job by that offensive line. That's somebody that you have to be excited about as an Illinois fan. His ability week in, week out to have an explosive play. His 80-yarder against Wisconsin a week ago was the longest since Daniel Dufresne, and I only remember that because I played in that football game when Daniel had the 80-yard touchdown run against us in Columbus. Although I will argue that he dropped the football at the 1-yard line, but it's all right. I'm not still bitter about that.
No, not at all. It doesn't sound like you're harboring any anger. And before that, the longest they said was Richard Mendenhall.
Yep.
Way back in 2006 when he had a run of 86 yards for Illinois.
I played against Richard Mendenhall as well. I mean, very talented running back. And remember those Illinois teams that I got the chance to play against? Juice Williams, Jay Lehman, BTN's own Jay Lehman.
He's James Laurinaitis. I'm Brandon Gaudin with Elise Spinnaker and Javon Lee, who's had a heck of a day. Gets out across the 40, and then a flag comes in right as he was being tackled. A flag around the 33-yard line. It's all smiles for number 20. There's no doubt.
During the return, holding, number 31, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
And it will be Tyler DeSue coming in to replace Kasim Hill. Ty Pigram, little banged up, so they will go with DeSue instead of Ty Pigram.
Yeah, whenever you have a quarterback that might have some bumps or bruises, and you have a game like this where it's out of hand, there's no need to put him in and have any of that soreness or minor injuries become anything major. And a nice opportunity to see the young freshman make an appearance, and where you're not going to have to worry about burning maybe a red shirt with him. You can get him some game action late here in this football game.
Yeah, just his second game of the season. You were talking about that red shirt rule. He can still play 2 more after this and preserve the red shirt. Nothing that time for Anthony McFarland.
And this is just great experience for him. To be able to, you can get all these reps in practice, and during bye weeks you might get a few reps here and there, but this is an opportunity to go against a starting Big Ten defense and see where you stack up. 131 total yards to the Terrapins.
And it's been pretty even. 265 pass, 266 rush. And he's going to go back a yard. Now they're going to be even. 265 passing yards and 265 rushing yards.
Well, they're aiming for pure balance. So far, they're on track.
coming in, as we documented in the open and throughout the first half, there was no balance on either side. It's all about the run game. But not today for the Terps. 3rd and 11 for Dessous. Sets up a screen. And he's going to keep the drive alive. Able to find Daryl Jones. First catch of the game for Jones.
And another freshman. And another one of those screens. It's Illinois is having a hard time right now diagnosing these tunnel screens, and they're called tunnel screens when the wide receiver comes back towards the line of scrimmage and allows the line to release down the field first.
That was the Virginia Beach connection. Tyler Dessous and Daryl Jones, both from Virginia Beach. And on the sweep, Jayshon Jones lowering the shoulder. Big contact with a safety, Sidney Brown, 14-yard gain. A little fired up after that.
Very rarely will you see a wide receiver eye up a safety and try to run him over. But it seems like all these young wide receivers from Maryland right now are feeling it.
Been a great game for Jones. Touchdown running, a touchdown receiving. Tayon Fleet Davis, have not seen a lot of him. It's mainly been McFarland and Leak in the running game. And as we told you earlier, Ty Johnson out for the rest of this contest.
It's amazing when you watch tape on this team and you see all their running backs and how you have Ty Johnson, who's a home run threat, obviously has done a lot of good things here, being 4th in career rushing, 3rd in all-time all-purpose yards at Maryland. Torrey Smith is 1st, by the way, in all-purpose yardage here at Maryland.
Now they've had some big playmakers. Of course, out wide last year they had DJ Moore, who had 80 catches and 8 touchdowns, now in the NFL. McFarland dragged down at the 43.
And the Maryland trend continues of having big rush games versus unranked teams. They've been able to come up with 278 so far. They average 295 yards per game versus unranked teams versus only 119 on the ground per game against ranked opponents.
Yeah, it's been feast or famine.
Yep.
Get another unranked opponent next week. They face Minnesota. Leak, Javon Leak, is he going to do it again? Yes, his 4th touchdown of the game. This time from 43 yards out.
And again, there's nobody on the edge for Illinois' defense. This is just a simple sweep. And he's able to stay in bounds. Really nice job by Javon Leak today, just impressive.
That one was tipped at the line, but still goes through. Javon Leak, his 4 touchdowns today have covered 231 yards. The last touchdown is today's Quicken Loans Making the Right Play, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans.
And you could have picked any play of Javon Leak, but the last touchdown run, really just the cherry on top of his day. He's gotten a lot of work, and he's done a lot with it. You can see why he put up over 3,500 yards in 2 high school football seasons. That's a lot of yards. Explosive football player.
The sophomore came into today with 4 touchdowns on his career, and he has doubled that. Maryland over 600 yards of offense. Justice Williams in the return game. Let's go to Chicago and check in with our good friend Mike Hall. So a little bit closer there than what we're seeing here as Maryland has really opened this one up. Just domination, 608 yards to 317. Reggie Corbin continues to do his thing. He's really been the lone bright spot on this side of the ball.
Yeah, in Illinois, able to go over 200 yards rushing, which they have done now in 7 of 8 games that they've played in. Although today it doesn't really matter in mop-up duty, getting over that number, because as they've gotten down to the red zone, they haven't been able to get touchdowns instead of field goals.
Corbin with 155 of those rushing yards for the Illini. Quick throw, Dominic Stampley. It's going to be stopped short, bring up 3rd down.
Tackled by Mosley. Gain of 3.
I thought it was interesting when we were talking to Illinois' offensive coordinator, Rod Smith, about their wide receivers. Who's the guy to blow the top off the defense? And he said, look, we don't have really guys that are going to outrun anyone. We have to use body position and more of a lot of possession receivers on the roster.
Yeah, he said Reggie Corbin, that's our home run hitter.
And we've seen that. We've seen that this afternoon, his ability. Again, it's been impressive throughout this season.
And the offense has really vastly improved over a season ago, even though today may not be the best outing. At the last second, he's able to complete that to Stampley, and Stampley breaks free. And he stays in bounds. Touchdown, Dominic Stampley. What an effort by the sophomore from right there in Champaign, Illinois.
Illinois touchdown.
61 yards there.
Well, Illinois runs this RPO. You think Bush is going to run the football, and at the last second, tosses is out there to Stampley. And look at the broken tackle there, and the ability to stay in bounds as he goes down the sideline. Does a little high step. Just shrugs off the tackle attempt by Deion Jones. Takes it to the house. An explosive play in the pass game for the Illini.
I was surprised he spun out of the first tackle, and I really thought Deion Jones was going to get him. But not to be. So Illinois showing signs of life here in the 4th. Dominic Stampley fired up after his long touchdown.
5 minutes. We announce another name. If it's not playing the entire game, that $5,000 rolls over to the Michigan State game. I'll be 10 grand by then, but we're not thinking about that yet. Haley Sue, it's on you. 5 minutes to play your 5 grand.
Football on BTN is brought to you in part by State Farm, here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today. And by Discover Card, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference. A lot of beautiful buildings here on campus. That's the library. James Laurinaitis was in there earlier reading War and Peace. Or was it Oliver Twist? I forgot.
No.
Forgot what you were in there reading.
I like picture books.
Maryland, even after the Dominic Stampley 61-yard touchdown, with a comfortable advantage.
The Illinois kickoff is in the end zone for touchdown.
Rayshad Lewis down to a knee. So Tyrell Piggott, which told you he was a little dinged up. He did go through warm-ups, but then he took off the pads and came out in the sweatsuit.
Looks cold right now. Which it has gotten chilly once the sun went down. But again, there's no need to risk having him in there and getting dinged up anymore. And whenever there's something that's been kind of nagging you throughout a practice week and you have an opportunity to kind of rest up a little bit for the rest of the season, that's the wise call by interim coach Matt Canada.
So it continues to be Tyler DeSue, the 6'1", 217-pound freshman. And they will hand it off to Aguebu. With his first carry tonight as they get deeper onto the depth chart, and a nice gain of 24 yards. Kasim Hill got the start. He was effective 11 passes, 265 yards, or completions, I should say, for 265.
Yeah, and I thought I took a lot away from our conversation with Matt Canada about him, and the expectations maybe being extremely high for a guy that, you know, beat Texas a year ago and he's playing great football. And a lot of analysts were kind of just saying, hey, if only Maryland had had a healthy quarterback. And then you kind of put into account the fact he didn't have the opportunity to go through spring ball and really never had a freshman year. So a lot of people assume that he's like a sophomore experience-wise, but he's not. He's still a freshman. He's still learning a lot of things, and today had a really nice day.
Well, in that limited action last year, you mentioned the win over Texas, but he was 18 of 21 throwing the ball. So it was such a hot start for him before the injury.
And also the recruiting plays into that as well. You mentioned his offers earlier on. When you're a big-time recruit, Expectations are always going to be high.
Guebu, short gain. These two offenses have now combined for 1,020 yards of offense. So if you like offense, you came to the right place. But if you are a former linebacker named James Laurinaitis, you don't like it.
That is, yeah. That's tough to see. That's tough to hear. Back in our, gosh, I sound like an old man. Back in my day, when you used to let up 350 yards of total offense, you were disappointed on defense, and now that seems like a good defensive performance in this day and age of this offensive football.
That's back when Milk was a nickel. I remember that.
It wasn't that long ago.
Brian Cobbs with a catch.
It was back before Twitter, and on Facebook you had to have a school account, a .edu email. They didn't just let anybody on Facebook back then. There was no Instagram, no Snapchat.
Yeah, what did they do? What did they do before they had those phones? 4th and 5. One of the few times that Maryland has been stopped. One of the few times because of that we've seen the punter, Wade Lees. First punt since the first quarter for the Terrapins. Almost got it blocked.
This team has been through a lot, and what he's done a nice job of is keeping all of the football players focused on each other, on the unit. And to be after this game, 5 wins and 1 more away from a bowl game says a lot about the job that he has done.
It's really been something as Rayshad Lewis has dropped right around the 25. And if they want to get that 6th win, they're going to have to find it in the final 4 weeks. Michigan State, at Indiana, Ohio State, and then at Penn State to finish it all off.
Yeah, so Michigan State does a really good job of stopping the run defensively. And Mark D'Antonio with a big win today over Purdue. With Rocky Lombardi, the backup quarterback, being the signal caller there. And then Indiana, when you look at that schedule, you think Indiana is the game that you really need to win to get bowl eligible. But with the explosiveness that they've shown today, they have talent all over the field. It's just a matter of, can we have this balance against some of the better teams in the Big Ten?
You get Michigan State at home, have to go to Indiana. How about 1,125 yards of offense between the two teams now?
I mean, it's unbelievable. It really has, and it's just been it's the fact that it's been these explosive plays on both sides, back and forth, especially here in this 4th quarter.
So just the touchdowns alone in this game, James, have covered 573 yards. Just the touchdown plays.
That's amazing.
2nd and 8 inside of 6 minutes left here in the 4th quarter.
Timeout. Maryland, their first of the half. Be a 30-second charge.
Timeout taken with 5:35 remaining in the 4th quarter. Matt Canada coaching till the end, patrolling the sidelines. He's got to feel pretty good, you know, you would think, with what his offense has been able to do today. Yeah, the offense has faltered late, but all in all, a pretty complete performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at their tailbacks and the talent that they have, that was the storyline coming in, was that ground game, the explosiveness. But I think it's the passing game and Kasim Hill's ability to make those throws, those touch throws that we've seen today. The ball he threw on that deep pass was really, really nice. He's done a phenomenal job. And so it's something that you can build on. I know he loves to stay positive with his young quarterback. He'll have a lot of positive to take away from this one.
Yeah, it should be a pretty fun film session all in all. Guebu with another carry. He's seeing all the action here late. Talked about guys that have fallen down on the depth chart. Guebu's certainly one of them. He's the junior, the walk-on. Fun for guys like that to get carries here, guys who don't normally see time.
Those are the backbone, a lot of times, of your program. Those are the players that they put in the same amount of hard work as the scholarship players do and the stars during the week. And it's nice to see them out there getting time. in live action.
Guebu again, close to the first. We'll see where they spot it as he's tackled by Tolson. Saying he's got the first down, and he does. Well, when these two played in basketball in last December, the score was 92-91. Maryland won in overtime, and now we're seeing the football version of a high-scoring game. Now, why not? We got basketball just a couple weeks away.
They're just giving us a preview. That's it.
Jones in motion. So we got basketball in a couple of weeks, but don't forget, after this coming up tonight on BTN, we got some really good volleyball. Illinois, Nebraska, 8 p.m. Eastern. Elise, you know a thing or two about Big Ten volleyball.
I do, and if you guys are not watching it on BTN, you need to be, because like you said, when you have Illinois and Nebraska playing each other, two of the best teams in the country, you know, Nebraska just snapped a 3-game losing skid, and we can recap it all for you in case you miss it on Women's Sports Report every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Shameless plug.
She got the plug in there.
What makes this match also really interesting is there is no Big Ten tournament in volleyball, so every match is really important, and now Nebraska has dropped in the Big Ten rankings, which I said, there's not a tournament, but it becomes very significant for the NCAA tournament. Illinois and Nebraska have some of the best players in the country on them. Take setter Jordan Poulter for Illinois. Really good stuff there.
And if you can't watch it on BTN, you can always watch it on the app tonight at 8 Eastern. Less than 3 minutes to play here. And it's another jet sweep carry. Tayon Fleet Davis. Maryland continues to move the ball with relative ease, 11 yards that time.
I'll tell you what, Nebraska loves their volleyball. I had an opportunity to stay in Lincoln after last week's game against Minnesota.
I saw you tweet about it.
All over the TVs. It's one of the most passionate fan bases about all their sports, and they obviously support the success that they've had there in volleyball.
In football, they got another win today. Of course, not the stiffest of tests against Bethune-Cookman, no disrespect, but back-to-back wins for Scott Frost, and now a bad snap. And DeSue is going to have to jump on this back around the 30. One of the few mistakes on offense today for Maryland.
You see there, he snapped way over his head. A smart decision just to jump on it. Did that bring them back under 1,100 yards in this game, or are they still over that?
Well, with Halloween 4 days away, they're at a very ominous 666 yards of offense right now. So they'll try to get off that quickly. 2nd and 33. And they will get off of that number with a nice carry. But it's still going to be 3rd and long. Well, Illinois, meanwhile, they do go back home next week against Minnesota. And obviously, with this loss today, bowl eligibility for them is going to be very, very tough.
Yeah, it is. And they'll be playing a Minnesota team that's coming off of a big win at home last night. And Lovie Smith felt that their team had a chance coming in here, talking to him on the phone. It's not going to be a fun day of film tomorrow for this squad. They got a lot of stuff to correct.
Yeah, he was really surprised that they were such big underdogs, and here's a big break, a big hole. And yet another touchdown, Okonkwo. We saw him with a big play earlier in the pass game. This time it's a 54-yard scamper to the end zone.
This perimeter run game all afternoon and evening has hurt Illinois. They've had a really difficult time trying to set the edges as the Illini defense. And Okonkwo, the latest beneficiary of that ground game.
Okonkwo 2 touches today, 25-yard touchdown reception, and now a 54-yard touchdown run. That's efficient. If there was a quarterback rating for a wide receiver, his would be perfect.
I'm truly speechless at the amount of explosive plays that you have seen here today. A lot of big time, long runs, receptions.
712 yards of offense for the Terrapins. Their previous season high as far as points go was 45 at Bowling Green in week 2, but they have blown past that. A comfortable win for Matt Canada. He's a fun guy to talk to in our meetings too, isn't he? Just very candid, very open.
Yeah, he is. Very honest, and you know, he's done a really nice job here, and just the future is bright for these Maryland kids. A lot of young talent. They've put on a heck of a display this afternoon.
I think that's going to be an interesting game with Michigan State next week. You said it. Michigan State stops the run. They're built to stop the run, but we'll see.
And they've struggled against some teams through the air. And so you see the talent on the perimeter if they can find ways to get them in some man coverage and the opportunity to make some plays down the field. They have the talent on the perimeter, does Maryland. And all it takes is one guy out of the gap, and you can see what Maryland can do with that speed. They can score.
We'll see a new quarterback here for Illinois, and that is not Matt Robinson, who is listed as their 3rd-string quarterback. So Illinois is digging deep in this well, and then they're going to hand it off to Dre Brown. But it's Cam Miller, first appearance that Cam Miller has made under center this year for the Fighting Illini, and he hands it off to Brown.
And the Fighting Illini don't have a takeaway in this football game. Brandon, that's the first time since November 12th, 2016 against Wisconsin that the Fighting Illini have not gotten a takeaway on defense.
And that's going to break their Power 5 best streak. You're right, good point. And that will do it. Maryland, what an offensive output. 712 yards of offense. They had 10 rushing yards in the first quarter. Quarters 2 through 4, 421 rushing yards.
Gosh. Just the fact of that many rush yards. I know Lovie Smith being a defensive-minded head coach, that's going to be the one thing that's really going to bother him as they travel back to Champaign, is the fact that they could not do anything to slow down this run. They couldn't set an edge, couldn't keep contained. Usually throughout a game, when you see the same run plays over and over, you're able to get better against it. Clearly, Maryland saw something schematically that they loved and were able to expose it.
And let's go down to Elise Menaker.
Coach, if I had to summarize this game, I think explosive plays would do the trick. Why was your offense able to generate such big plays?
Kids played well today. They had some explosive on their side, too. So there was a lot of big plays on both sides. I thought our guys, we came out, the first series there, not very good on offense, and then we kind of settled down, and they played very well. So happy for our players.
Javon Leake, you said before the game that you wanted to get him more touches. I'd say you did the trick, 4 touchdowns. What did you see in him that you knew you had to get him the ball?
Well, like we talked about before the game, he's practiced very well, and he was not practicing as well as he could have earlier in camp and in the season, and he got himself going. He didn't hang his head. We have such talent at that position. It was hard to get his chance, and he earned a chance, and he got, obviously the kickoff return was the first big play, and he got some on offense. So I'm happy for him because it showed a guy that worked his way back up and did a really good job.
You just got your 5th win. How would you evaluate your team and your performance as interim head coach at this point in the season?
Well, really excited. We wanted to be 5-3 when the game was over, and that's what we are. So really, really excited about our players. Happy for them, and go in. We're going to enjoy it tonight, and we'll worry about tomorrow.
Coach, thanks so much for the time.
All right, thanks a lot.
Brandon, back up to you.
Most points that Matt Canada and Maryland has ever scored in a Big Ten game since coming into the conference in 2015. And that will wrap it up for Maryland. Coming up, Dave, Stanley, and Chuck will bring you all the scores and highlights on the State Farm postgame report. For James Laurinaitis and Elise Smedeker, producer Bart Fox, director Phil Monica, I'm Brandon Gaudin, saying so long from the University of Maryland. The Terps roll to win number 5.
Real deal. This the man right here, Glock. My boy Glock. Hey, RVU, man. That's my dog. Hey, good shit.
Devon, your team clearly very excited for you. You had just 4 touchdowns on your career. You had then 4 today. Why were you able to be so productive?
Well, it started with my O-line. You know, they made the holes for me, and I just hit them. But, you know, it was a great team effort, and everybody was doing their job, and I just did my job. You know, it resulted in that.
Do you have a favorite touchdown from today?
Probably the kick return, because, you know, last year I got caught by the kicker, so this year I didn't want that to happen again. I couldn't let it happen again.
Coach mentioned all the depth that you guys have at running back and then the switch that you made throughout the season, even just in practice. What was it in you that you knew you had to make a switch?
Well, it's just we got a lot of running backs, so, you know, it's a lot of competition in the room. So everybody push each other, so everybody just got to work. And we come out here and we show that we could be the best backs in the country, and we just try to keep that motivation every day.
And you guys just got your 5th win on the season. How does that feel?
Feels great. We got to get a couple more.
Thanks so much, Devon, for the time.
Appreciate it.